I like this vision of the steamship just pulling up, like ripping up, like, hey, what's up?
What's up, losers?
Nerds, beep, beep. And then like, all right, check this out. They like took off and like came back around, like, all right, get on. Then kept on driving away from them.
Yeah.
And then they got swept out to the ocean.
Come on. Come on. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, they just keep hitting the gas. Like, oh,
yeah.
almost.
Where's your wind at, nerds? You gonna put your sheets out there? Yeah.
A little hang up your blankets and get going there.
Your old blankies, they're not helping you? Check this out. And he just like took off. Like popped a wheelie. Yeah. Sprayed him with water.
Yeah. Nerds. Welcome to the 20th century.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mysterious Pals. My name is Chris. The sun's out, which means the fun's out, and he's sitting right across from me. His name's Jordan. Jordan, thank you, and welcome aboard to another episode.
Thanks. Glad to be aboard with you, Chris.
And how was the seas for you this week? How was your sailing?
Seas were mighty rough.
Yeah?
Remember I told you about that bird that kind of
yes.
I'm pretty sure it gave up on its nest.
Like the baby's hatched and it left?
No. It's just gone.
Are the birds still in there?
The eggs are, yeah.
Are they, well, I mean, they didn't hatch?
I think the bird just abandoned it.
Did you go out and touch them?
But also though, there was another bird, different bird, baby bird, that I know was just sitting right outside. Like, again, this is their backyard. We're just sitting there on like our little stoop. Its leg was broken.
Okay.
That was terrible.
What'd you do to it?
I didn't do anything to it. I didn't break its leg. I like went around the front, went around back just to see like what was going on. I like freaked out, got stuck in almost like this crate we keep outside for like all our gardening stuff. Oh crap, now we can just leave it in here. Or is it safer in the crate because like nothing will get it? There's parents gonna come and try and get this thing. Like, I don't know how that works. So Kelly and I ended up taking all the stuff out of the crate and just like took off, flew into like the parking lot.
Got hit by a car?
No, and then just like we didn't see it again. So hopefully it's fine. And then we discovered in our garden there was a rabbit's nest with some dead rabbits.
Why are they dead? What?
I don't know dude. I don't mean to laugh, but we're just like, what is happening in the back of our place? All these things are like dead or dying or broken.
Or being abandoned.
Like, is this karma? Like, what did we do to deserve this?
Just
it's terrible, man. But it makes sense because one night you
have cats though. Yeah,
but one night we had a so our back door has like those like blinds on the inside. You can like flip them down. With those open, so our cat can like look outside. Kelly saw an orange cat come out from our garden a couple nights before, and I was like, I bet that orange cat got it.
Got what?
One of the baby
rabbits? Yeah. You said they were dead.
Well, yes.
Wouldn't have eaten them and walked away.
Well, so when we're looking out the window, when I was trying to look at the nest, the nest is on our windowsill, I noticed in the garden there was something just dead there. Looked like its like head was ripped off. So.
Oh, okay. Well, weasels will do that too, apparently.
Apparently skunks do that too. We were smelling skunks at night several nights in a row.
There you go.
It was just like depressing, man.
Yay. I mean, that's how nature is, dog.
I know. Yeah, it was a rough day.
I'm over here trying to murder some groundhogs because those things suck. Hate those stupid things. I got a lot of critters running around here.
Why do you want to murder them?
They're very destructive. We talked about this lots of times.
Yeah.
They're extremely destructive. And also, I was cutting the grass the other day and lots of toads around here. Those things.
Oh, man.
Yeah, those things are cool. I picked those things up. I moved them out of the way.
Okay.
I save those things. But like, because they eat bugs and stuff. And I hate bugs. Yeah. I've gone on record saying I hate bugs. But there's been some dead things around here. A lot of turkey hawks going after those things. Turkey vultures, not turkey hawks.
Okay.
So it's been a wild thing. Baby deer getting stuck in our pond.
Oh God, man.
Past, yeah, that's it's been a crazy time around these parts.
What do you do with a baby deer gets stuck in a pond?
Take a big rake, dig it out, and then throw it over a hill.
Okay. Oh, so it's already dead.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes, I mean, one or two times it's been past this recent year or two. It's been dead, but Yeah, it's crazy out here. Animals suck. I have a huge snake living around my house. In the wall of my house, had babies or something because there's a lot of little ones around too. Yeah, bad. I mean, snakes are fine because they eat mice, and I hate mice, so
Yeah.
I don't really mess with them.
It's a big snake, though, man.
The one I saw recently was like it's a gardener snake. One recent one I saw on the side of my side yard the other day was I think it was like almost 4 foot, maybe 3 or 4 foot. It's pretty big. It's thick mama.
Nope.
Yeah. There's just one baby that, not so much a baby, or maybe like a toddler. I don't know. It's
toddler snake.
It's maybe like 6-8 inches long. My dog goes out and it's always sunning right there. It always tries to bite my dog, but it's a gardener snake, so it can't actually hurt him.
Yeah.
My dog freaks out. And then it scurries away.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a big toad lives around here. It's like probably.
I think I've heard it.
No, those are the bullfrogs. A toad is the one that don't go in the water.
Oh.
Yeah, toads just like live in my wall and stuff. They live in the grass and holes. Those guys are crazy. There's a big one that's like bigger than my hand. Lives in our one wall out back. He's pretty cool. I've seen him before.
Like a wall in your house?
Like they live behind, like in like wall in the yard.
Oh, okay.
They live behind it.
Okay.
They live underground. They make burrows or something. Yeah. Animals are terrible. There's a lot of stuff going around.
Yeah.
Try to leave them alone.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get into space, like mice and stuff. I got to murder. Yeah. Groundhogs got to murder. Yep.
Huh.
So that's been going on here. It's been hot.
Yeah. I had to kill somehow some big spider got in our place llast night. Sitting on the couch.
When you say big spider, we talking?
It was big, man. It wasn't like
a cellar spider. We have a lot of those around here.
Cellar spider?
They're like a type of spider.
Dude, I've never seen something like this. We're sitting on the couch and I thought I saw something scurry.
Was it a wolf spider?
Maybe. It was big.
Kind of furry.
I don't know, because this is what happened. So we're sitting on the couch watching Godzilla, the newest one.
Yep.
And see some scurry in the corner of my eye. I'm like, oh, seeing thing. I see something again. I'm like, what is this? And plus, we have a cat, so I'm hoping if something like this is in our house, a cat will just.
It had your cat. It had your cat held down. Give me your money.
I was like, oh my god, Kelly grabbed me something. She's like, what do you want me to grab? I got oh, something. We got
tire iron.
We got like takeout food. We went to breakfast. Anyways, he grabbed like the clear plastic container. So I just put it on top and just started punching down on it. I was like,
He crying.
I don't want to do this. I was like so creeped out. And it left like blood on our carpet. It was like that big, man.
I would say it was bigger than your hand.
No.
Okay. That's when you burn your place down.
Yeah. We would move.
Yeah.
I was like, what? We have a cat. What's she doing?
So it was furry?
I can't tell.
Wolf spiders.
It was dark. The only light we had in the room was like we have like the same thing you got with like the TV, like the lights on the TV. So it was just like, dude, I just kept punching and punching and punching. I didn't want it like biting their cat. And it could have been a totally fine spider, but
I don't think any like poisonous ones live around here.
There's wolf spiders, aren't there?
Wolf spiders aren't poisonous. I don't think.
No?
Wolf spiders are. They live in wood. They like wood.
Yeah, we got a bunch of woods behind us.
Like they live in
train
like
tracks.
They live in like
hobo spiders.
They live like in dead wood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
we've seen some big ones around here too, like in our wood pile. There's
one time we were moving logs.
Yeah, go camping
for firewood.
Yeah,
we're like we dropped the log. We're like,
yeah. Don't like bugs.
Nope.
We didn't have gloves on.
No.
Okay.
All right. Well, here we are.
Yeah, we don't like bugs.
No.
Nope. Hate them. Okay. Well, I don't know if there's bugs that live on boats.
Gotta be.
You think?
Yeah, sure.
Like if you're a pirate,
there's probably mice, which probably has fleas.
Rats.
Yeah, rats. Yeah.
Yeah, bubonic plague type of thing.
Yep.
Anyway, we're gonna go over a ghost ship this week, and like in the
ghost
past,
ships are cool.
Yes, Mary Celeste was the last one we did.
Yeah.
Great story. Spooky.
Yeah, one of the more popular ones.
Yes, one of the more well-known one. This one, I don't know how well-known it is. There was not a lot of research on it, but it's really well-known in East Coast United States, because it happened there, where it was found, rather. But we're going to talk about the mystery of the Carroll A. Daring, which was a ship. It was a 5-mast schooner which was abandoned off the coast of Cape Hatteras in North Carolina.
I think we went over this before. What is a schooner exactly?
I don't know. The boat. I think it's a type of boat, but let's look.
Oh yeah, it's a type of boat, but like what defines a schooner?
Is that like a glass?
Yeah, I remember those glasses that we those are the taller pint glasses we had for beer.
So a schooner is a sailing ship rigged with fore and aft sails on its 2 or more masts. So it's a sailing ship.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have an engine.
Yeah.
And I guess what makes it a schooner is
they're pretty big though, right? Like decent size.
Well, the one we're talking about was one that transported cargo. So let's see. All it says it's defined by its rigging, which is a fore and aft rigged on 2 or more masts. So it has multiple sheets on the masts, apparently.
Yeah.
So, which sailing in the ocean,
like a lot of work, and it seems terrifying.
Yeah, especially when just relying on the wind. It seems super dumb.
Yep. No engine. You're just like, you're at the ocean's mercy and wind's mercy.
Okay, so apparently etymology of schooner was first appeared in Eastern North America in the early 1700s. The name may be related to the Scots. The Scottish word for skip over water or skipping stones.
All right.
I'm going to go out and schooner a rock across the water later, too.
Cross your pond at a dead deer.
Yeah. That would suck. Okay, so basically, it was a ship that had, I guess it was sat high in the water. It wasn't, and was good for cargo.
All right.
And it had a lot of masts.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know. There's people out there that
solve that mystery.
There's people out there that are really into like rigging and the history of ships. And I think ships are awesome.
Yeah.
But like, I've looked at like technical drawings, like engineering drawings of how they rigged up ships and like what each rope did and why it was that way. And it was like,
it's very overwhelming,
insanely complicated. Yeah, obviously because they were trying to make
big journeys,
and the faster they made, the more money they made. So they had to make fast ships. And then someone was like, "Hey, here's an engine." They're like, "Oh crap, this is way easier."
Yeah.
Okay, so 1921, the Carroll A. Deering. Deering.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. So it's a Carroll A. Deering. 1921 was found off the coast of Cape Hatteras in North Carolina. The ship itself was abandoned. There was no crew.
The ghost ship.
No evidence of what happened to the crew. And stuff was there. There's plenty of food. Boats were gone, like the lifeboats.
Okay.
But the logs and everything were gone. People were never found.
They left.
The logs being like the logbooks.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the ghost ship Carroll A. Deering, which I guess is technically up there with like in America, especially with the Mary Celeste. Like it's pretty significant, pretty well known. There was another one I was going to do a story on. My original idea for this episode was was called the SS Orang Medan, which was like this crazy story, really interesting. And the more research I did, the more I found out it was like probably just a big hoax.
Oh,
like there's no record of it.
Okay.
So I'd like quickly be like, oh, this is awesome stories, writing all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is complete garbage.
There's been a few times when like I'm trying to find stuff and I'll go on a website. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. And then I like look it up somewhere else and like, yeah, it's a hoax. There's one like with like I was like, oh, it's about a sea monster that attacked like a World War I German U-boat submarine. Oh, this is awesome. Like sea monsters, like World War I German stuff. Like,
and it was a movie with Sean Connery.
But then it was like everything else I found like, yeah, that's not really what happened. I'm like, oh, cool. Hopes up for nothing.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're a show of mysteries, but at the same time, maybe we still do that mystery in the future
Yeah.
and be like, look, this is probably a hoax, but here's the story behind it. This is why people think this, which is probably a good way of presenting that. So maybe in the future I'll still do it. But today I'm going to talk about the Carroll A. Deering dead. So again, it was a ship, 1921. It was a cargo ship used to transport cargo, different parts of the world. It was constructed in 1919 by G.G. Deering Company in Bath, Maine.
I was asked how it got its name.
Yeah. The ship was named after the son of the company's owner. The schooner was built for commercial purposes of cargo transportation, particularly the cargo of coal. Transported coal.
This is 1921, you said?
1919 was when it was built. It was built to transport coal. Okay. And in 1920, they're still using ships that don't have engines, which is strange because in World War I, they were using engines on their ships, weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Because in the Civil War, they were.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Civil War, they were using steam.
Maybe it was just cheaper.
Well, sure. I'm sure. Yeah. The industry didn't probably caught on fully to.
For cargo, that seems like, I don't know. Whatever. Maybe I should look more into that because that seemed interesting. On why they would do it that way.
Yeah, I know. Maybe this didn't. No one, like, not everybody was on at that point as far as like engines.
I mean, if you're in an industry and you're trying to make money
and speed,
yeah,
one of them.
So maybe there was those hangouts that are just like, maybe that's why you don't hear about this company anymore. But like, because
they failed.
Everybody's like, dude, just put a boat on there. What are you doing?
No, that's all going to go by wayside.
Yeah.
Purists.
Engines, that's like garbage.
Fuddy-duddy.
Yeah. That's going to be gone in a year. This combustion engine, whatever. Henry Ford can go to hell. Yeah. All right. So this cargo ship was 255 feet long, 44 feet wide, and had a depth of 19.6 feet. So from the top to the bottom, not the top of the mast, the top of the deck, down. It was powered by sails across 5 masts, making it one of the last large sailing vessels constructed during the time when steamships were becoming the norm.
There you go. Yeah.
So, still, I don't know. Maybe it was super expensive to use that new technology of.
I'm sure it was.
Engine.
Yeah.
But like
it's like buying an electric car now. They're expensive. Expensive to like fix
and probably maintain.
Remember, you remember what? We're not going to say it, but do you remember what we'd call our boat if we had one?
Yes. Someday.
Yeah.
We have a lot of money for that. Yeah. The Carroll A. Deering was initially owned by the Deering family, and they had a long history in shipbuilding and maritime trade. When then they were like, "Oh, we're gonna probably go bankrupt because we're not building ships with engines."
They're based in the Northeast, right?
In Maine.
The US of A?
Yes, they're in Maine. I think it was built in Maine by the G.G. Deering Company, Bath, Maine. And I think same company that also operated it. So the early voyages in this ship was successful, transporting coal and other goods along the Atlantic coast and beyond. So it was going to different places, especially in the Caribbean, South America, transporting coal from.
So they're shipping what eventually kills them, like kills their business.
Yeah. So shipping the thing so other boats can use it to then sail. Yeah.
The irony of that.
So as a cargo schooner, the Carroll A. Deering played a crucial role in the maritime industry, especially in transportation of bulk goods, coal. But it was also part of that transition period between traditional sailing ships and modern steam-powered vessels due to the cost of maintaining and transporting. Wind is free.
Yeah, right.
Steamships cost money to operate. But they can also make them a lot bigger, and they can operate at times when there's no wind.
Do you think it was, imagine like if you got the hold of how to operate a steam engine ship, you would need less people? Would that seem right? Maybe? I don't know. Like, because you might need someone on the ship, obviously, to like maintain it, fix stuff, but you wouldn't need someone like running up and down, like all like the ropes and jigs. Is that the right terminology? A jig?
I don't know. But you also would imagine you have to have like a pretty, or especially like a steam powered engine, you have to have like a mechanic on board.
That's what I'm saying.
Work
yeah,
it.
That's what I'm saying. At least someone like that. But like, I feel like you might not need as many people because I don't know.
It might be like one of those like scenes in those like Western movies where like the iron horse versus the cowboys. Like I can beat this horse, and it's like the guy's just like, so some coal. I don't know, just put some more coal in there, man. It'll be fine. Yeah. And the horse guy's like, I'm gonna never wins.
Well, it was Paul Henry. Is that the big
Paul Bunyan?
Paul Bunions
with the big ox.
Is
that real?
The ox and the bunions. No, it was like
that song.
Oh, there's something Henry. Like he's like the guy versus the train.
Oh, Henry.
Yeah, isn't that?
I think you're thinking about a WWF character, WWE or something. Paul Henry.
Oh my goodness, this is hold on. All right.
I don't think this is anywhere we want to be.
No, he's like, it was about man versus machine. Like he's like, I can do
Paul
this.
Paul Henry?
I think so. No, it's not Paul Henry.
Or like Charlie Chesterton.
John Henry?
John Henry?
Yeah, because the name is Superman character after. Yep, John Henry Folklore about man versus machine.
The folklore.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a WWE wrestler.
I mean, they might have made it some. But just, yeah, okay.
Okay.
We went a little different direction there.
We're good at that. So the final voyage of the Carroll A. Deering. It was a series of cryptic events that puzzled investigators for centuries, or a century, over a century, since it happened in 1921. But what happened, or what was going on, was the crew was captained by William H. Merritt, and he was accompanied by a crew of 10 men. Merritt's son, Sewall, Sewall, it was his first mate. So he had his first mate.
So the captain's name was Sewall?
No, the captain's name was William H. Merritt. Okay. His son, who was his first mate, was Sewall, Sewall, which is kind of a cool name.
It's a cool name for someone who works on a ship.
Sewall, I don't know. Sewall Merritt. And he had 10 men made up of entirely Scandinavians. And they say mostly Danes. Is the Danish part of Scandinavia?
No, it's a different country. Well, yeah, I mean, so Scandinavia consists of
Norway, Finland,
and Sweden. Yeah, I don't know if the Danes,
but we do know that Holland,
which I hope you're not keeping there. But that like juts out of Germany. I don't know if that's, but like then there's the ocean or whatever, like seas right there. That's where like Sweden and like Norway, like those tips.
So I don't think Danish people would be considered Scandinavians. No. Okay, so it says, so for my research, there was Scandinavians, there was Danes. We'll just say there was 10 other men from Northern Europe.
Who are, I mean, that's a seafaring society.
Right. And they're they're working in North America.
Yeah.
Captain Merritt was an experienced mariner who respected his field. He was a hero of World War I because he was considered a hero from World War I because he was cited for his bravery under fire for saving his entire crew when his previous command, the Deering-built 5-mast schooner Dorothy B. Barrett, was sunk by German submarine U-117 off Cape May, New Jersey in 1918. So he saved like his whole crew whenever his ship went down.
Okay. Hey, were you thinking of Booker T. Washington? Is that who you think of the wrestler?
Mark Henry.
Okay. All right.
Mark Henry, the big guy.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So this guy was a hero. He knew what he was doing. Mm-hmm. So he was pretty good commander or captain. However, he fell ill shortly after the voyage began and was replaced by Captain Willis B. Wormel, who was also considered another seasoned captain. So we're going to go through the timeline here, and we're going to see how this breaks down and where the ship was and what was happening. So we do have 10 men plus a first mate and a captain.
Yeah.
That's all true.
Father and son.
And then they got switched out. Okay, we're going to go through a timeline here of everything that was going on. On July 19th, 1920, the Deering departed from Puerto Rico for Newport News, Virginia, to pick up a cargo of coal destined for Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. On August 26, 1920, the Deering cleared the Virginia Capes bound for Rio. But Captain Merritt soon fell seriously ill, and the Deering turned back and put into the port of Louis, in Delaware. Lewes.
Oh.
Louis, Delaware. Louis. Anyway, to drop off Merritt and his son. So his son and the commander or the captain got off.
Okay.
So the Deering Company had to find someone else to handle this shipment because they're still getting paid.
Right.
You know, and the time that this boat's not operating, they're losing money.
Right. And short notice too.
Right. So the Deering Company recruited Captain Willis B. Wormel, a retired 66-year-old veteran sea captain, to replace him on the voyage to Brazil. Charles B. McClellan was hired as his first mate. So the Deering Company, I don't understand how they would even do this. Like I said, call, I don't know. But there must have been something in the process of different ports to set this process in motion.
Right.
So anyway, they get a new captain.
We sound like standby, maybe?
Maybe. So on September 8th, Captain Willis took over command of the Deering and set sail for Rio. So 26th, they turned back, got to Delaware. September 8th, they're setting off again for Rio to drop off the coal. December 2nd, so I'm going to stop right there for 1 second. The timelines of this was like, why does it take them a month to find a captain? Well, because it's like takes so long to sail everywhere. It's not like they're instantly going so quick. They're flying in a plane. Like they're just like, it takes so long to sail from one place to another.
Yeah.
I was like, what are they doing in between there? It must be so boring.
Yeah. Just waiting around. Yeah, I mean, at work today? I don't know. Here for the next 3 weeks and figure,
or you're on the ship waiting for it to like get fueled up or whatever.
Yeah. I wouldn't be fueled up. You're just not.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like food and
Stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
Because like if there's 10 guys sitting on there for a month waiting for another captain to come on board, they're going to be eating and stuff.
Yeah.
So the Deering's losing money right there just for keeping those guys fed.
Sorry, why did the captain, previous captain and his son get off? They're just like, we're done.
He was sick.
Oh, okay.
He was seriously ill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So he got really sick.
Okay.
He's sick enough to say that we got turned back. So on December 2nd, so that's September 8th, they took off for Rio. December 2nd, 1920, the Deering left Rio. Right. So it I don't know how long it took to get there, but then they had to unload and then
probably resupply
and stuff. Right. The Deering left Rio, stopping on Barbados for supplies.
How are they making money off of this? like losing people, hiring people, sitting at, like you said, sitting at port, supplies. They're just like wasting time.
I mean, it must have been a lot of money to.
I would hope so, unless maybe that's why this company's not around anymore.
Maybe
Bad
this
business
is why.
practice.
Yeah, like how much coal can actually be? Like they come put on a train?
Yeah.
I guess they couldn't, maybe, but like.
Sorry, was the coal coming from Puerto Rico?
No. The coal was. Okay. So they were taking coal from Newport News.
Okay.
So they came from Puerto Rico where they dropped something off.
And
they went to Newport News, picked up coal to go to Rio.
Yeah, okay.
But it's like such a long way.
Yeah.
And like just for a shipment of coal. Like they didn't have coal in the mountains down there. Whatever. I don't know. I'm not a salesman, boatman. Yeah. So we got, December 2nd, 1920. Deering left Rio, stopping in Barbados for supplies. In his 2005 book, author Bland Simpson says, during the stop for supplies and...
His name's Bland?
Bland Simpson. Yeah. So
Bland.
He wrote a book about this in 2005. Bland. Bland.
Oh, wow. All right.
Maybe it's a pen name. What's that called whenever they make a fake name?
Pen name.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, right.
What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of that country guy that made a different album.
Garth Brooks.
Yeah. Stage name, pen name.
Yeah, pen name.
Okay.
Pseudonym.
Whatever.
Is that right?
Synonym? That's the stuff you put in your toast. Tasty. You're thinking of toast.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah. Delicious cereal. Bland Simpson says, during the stop for supplies in Barbados, first mate McClellan got drunk in town and played... Pseudonym? Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Pseudonym Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
First mate McClellan got drunk in town and complained to Captain Hugh Norton of the Snow, which is a different ship.
Mm-hmm.
So like these towns where people are getting supplies, the
port.
guys are going out and they're drinking because there's nothing else to do.
Right, yeah.
So you're probably spending all your money.
Yeah.
Sounds cool. McClellan, the first mate, was complaining to another captain that he could not discipline the crew without Wormel interfering, and that he had to do all the navigation because Wormel had poor eyesight. So he's basically just complaining. He's drunk, probably.
Yeah.
So
I
later,
feel like you need to have good eyesight if you're going to be navigating.
no, you got those eyeglass. You just use it all the time. You're like,
This is why people probably thought they were mermaids.
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
look at that.
I mean, you're sitting
Your
out.
vision's terrible.
Okay, so if you're a sailor, you're an old sailor, you're sitting out in the sun, like looking around all day,
Brains
like
baking.
yeah, your eyes are just melting out of their face.
Yeah.
It's not like they were
bored.
It's not like because we got TVs, all of a sudden everybody's eyes got bad.
Yeah.
Eyes always been crap.
Right. Yeah.
Didn't matter. People just didn't see anything far away. That's why we have stories about crap. You know? Well, the good stories about mythical creatures are so old because no one had glasses.
Yeah. They're just blind.
They just saw blobs. They're like, it's really just a little boy walking down the street.
It's a chimera.
Yeah.
No, it's just a dog.
Yeah.
Just old.
What's that? Chupacabra is just like a dog with mange.
Yeah.
Some guy with didn't have glasses. I can't wait till we have electric eyes, like robot eyes.
Electric
They
eyes.
just pop these things out and put new ones in there.
Yeah.
It'd be rad. Can't wait. Anyway, where was I at?
Guy was complaining.
Okay,
First
yeah.
mate was
So
complaining.
Captain Norton, captain of the Snow, his first mate, and another captain were in the Continental Cafe when they heard and were listening to McClellan, and he said, this is a quote, "I'll get the captain before we get to Norfolk, I will."
What does that mean? As in, like,
I'm guessing
I'll rob him
the
out?
idea is right.
Yeah.
He'll get rid of him.
wink, wink.
So McClellan was arrested in a drunken state,
Jeez.
but on January 9th, Wormel forgave him, bailed him out of jail, and set sail for Hampton Roads, which is where they were heading to drop off the coal, I guess. Oh, wait. No, sorry.
I thought they were dropping off in Rio.
They already dropped it off. They were in Barbados. They were heading to Hampton Roads, I guess, to pick up another shipment or something. So on January 29th, 1921, so that was December 2nd, they were in Barbados.
Mm-hmm.
January 29th, 1921.
Oh, well over a month later.
Well, on January 9th, Wormel bailed McClellan out.
Oh, right. Okay.
So January 9th, they bailed him out and they set sail. Okay. So January 29th, 20 days later, 1921, the Daring passed the Cape Lookout lightship, where it was reported the ship had lost its anchors. Okay, so the lightship would have been basically a lighthouse. And Cape Lookout.
Yeah.
The lightship's keeper, Captain Jacobson, reported that a tall, thin man with reddish hair and a foreign accent speaking through a megaphone told him the vessel had lost its anchors in a storm off Cape Fear and asked the ship's owners, the G.G. Deering Company, be notified. Jacobson took note of this, but
There is a light ship, like a ship that
it's a
goes
lighthouse.
around the. I wasn't sure it was like a ship actually just patrols the coastline. Hey, there's rocks over here. Don't crash.
So light ships are floating lighthouses that are anchored in areas where it's too deep, expensive, or impractical to construct a lighthouse. So it's just a ship that was just anchored there.
Cape Fear.
No, Cape Lookout.
Oh.
The Cape Fear is when they said they lost their anchors, which would be pretty important for a ship that's controlled with the wind. If they had an engine, this probably wouldn't have been a problem.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so Jacobson took note of this. This is the guy on the lightship, but his radio was out. He wasn't able to report it. But what are they going to say?
And he claimed to see a guy on a megaphone saying, an accent, right? Red hair guy, claiming that their
anchors were gone.
Yes.
So they couldn't stop. basically. I'm guessing? Like, how else would you stop a ship?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Or it got less windy. Yes, I don't know.
Just sit.
Yeah, so Jacob took note of this. Again, his radio was out, so he wasn't able to report it right away. He also noticed that the crew seemed to be milling around on the quarterdeck of the ship, an area where they were usually not allowed. The following afternoon, the crew of another vessel transiting the area spotted the Daring sailing a course that would take it directly into the Diamond Shoals. The Diamond Shoals are a thing in Cape Hatteras, which is basically just, they call it the Diamond Shoals because it's just really dangerous, I guess. Like, just a place where ships always wreck.
Yeah. I don't know, like, I know, like, we've talked about multiple, pirates and these, like, ghost ship kind of things, but, like, I don't know anyone would want to do this.
Do what?
Like, be part of any of this stuff. Work on a ship.
I mean,
back then, it just...
You grew up doing it? Your dad did it?
Yeah.
You know...
That's all you know, and, like, I would assume the money's good.
You going to work in a factory?
Yeah.
I don't know. The Diamond Shoals, they are a always shifting cluster of shallow underwater sandbars that extend 8 miles out from Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, in the United States. Hidden beneath the waves and constantly changing in both form and depth. The Shoals are believed to be responsible for 600 shipwrecks along Cape Hatteras shoreline, which is commonly known as the graveyard of the Atlantic.
Ooh.
So apparently it's just this area where, depending on the time of year, depending on what's going on in the ocean, it could either be really bad and hard to navigate in any direction. So it's just a really bad place to go. Okay, so the following afternoon, after the Captain Jacobson sees them and they tell him the anchor's out, they are spotted by another vessel transiting the area, and the Daring was sailing on course that would take him directly into the Diamond Shoals. They, however, saw no one on the ship's decks and didn't attempt to hail the schooner, assuming her crew would spot Cape Hatteras, the Cape Hatteras lighthouse, or the Diamond Shoals lightship and change course to avoid wrecking the Shoals.
Sure, yeah.
So they just...
Like someone would...
I'd imagine there's
surely see, like, what they're about to, run into. Based
on what we've done with, like, Mary Celeste and just understanding, like, the pirates.
Yeah.
Talking about pirates and stuff.
Yeah.
There's actually so many boats around this time, like, along the East Coast, everywhere.
Yes.
But, like, at this time in 1800s, 1900s, there's probably so many boats.
Yeah.
Going everywhere.
I don't know how many of those are just lost or... like this, kind of something along these lines.
We'll talk about this later, but the Carroll Daring was still visible, I think, up to a couple years ago. It got moved by a storm. It was just sitting in the Diamond Shoals still. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
All right, so that was, again, January 29th and the next day, which would have been January 30th. On January 31st, the ship, the Carroll A. Daring, was found hard aground on the Diamond Shoals off Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, USA. The ship was deserted with no trace of the crew. So on February 4th, the Coast Guard, when they found it, they notified the Coast Guard. It took to February 4th for the Coast Guard to get out there. Maybe because of storms, something was going on.
The ship ran ground in these shoals, is that correct?
Yes. So the Coast Guard boarded the ship on February 4th. They found the ship deserted with personal items from the crew. Lifeboats and crucial navigation equipment was missing. Logbooks, the books they would use for navigation, that type of stuff. The galley was well stocked, suggesting the crew had left abruptly. They didn't take any food with them, apparently. Generally, maybe they took a little bit. But if they're close to this, the sea, the shore, maybe they wouldn't needed it.
Yeah, right.
This initial assessment was crucial in shaping the investigation, however, because they know someone saw the ship with people on it a couple days earlier.
But was it people or just one person?
No, because Jacobson made reference. He recorded it that
That guy with the megaphone, right? Hey,
he noticed the crew seemed to be milling around on the quarterdeck of the ship.
Okay.
Yeah, and now I'm interested.
That's only a matter of a couple of days, right? Like January 29th, and this is February 4th, the Coast Guard came out?
Okay, so the quarterdeck.
Like, who's to say that crew that this person saw was even the actual crew?
Yeah. Or was the crew and they were on the quarterdeck for some reason. They shouldn't have been there, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Because the quarterdeck, and I just looked this up, and I meant to look it up earlier because I thought I knew what it was. I didn't want to sound dumb, but I just looked it up anyway. The quarterdeck is a raised deck between the main mast of the sailing ship. Traditionally, it was where the captain commanded his vessel and where the ship's colors were kept. So it was like...
where they would like...
Right. So it was a place where like no one should have been up there. But they were up there. It was what Jacobson said from the light ship. He saw. Okay, so that was, like I said, that was January 29th. And on the 31st, they found it hard aground in the Shoals.
Then when did the Coast Guard?
February 4th.
Okay.
So February 4th, the Coast Guard...
After 5 days.
Goes on the ship, sees all the food, all the belongings were still there, but navigation equipment was gone. Which is important. Like, if they didn't take any logs, then they knew something was up. That
lifeboats are gone.
And crucial navigation equipment, the logs of the captain's log and stuff are gone.
Coal still on the ship?
Well, they dropped it off in Rio.
Oh, right.
And apparently they were close. Like, when that light ship saw them, they were close to the shore, the land.
Yeah.
Right. The Coast Guard initiated a search for the missing crew, scanning nearby waters and coastlines for lifeboats or bodies. Despite the efforts, no trace of the crew was found, and a search was expanded. One note that was recorded was there was no anchors on the ship. So that was a true story. That checked out. There was food laid out on the boat as if they were prepping a meal, or they were, they were at least using the food. Maybe it was just tied on with rope at that time. It wasn't like it was steel. But, I mean, I guess it could have been steel. Or chains.
Yeah, it was some kind of metal. Yeah.
Maybe it was chains. That seemed, maybe they didn't want to use chains because it was too heavy.
Yeah.
And so they used rope.
Yeah.
Two of them. I mean, they're probably not on the boat. They're probably like hanging off of it.
Yeah.
So a bad storm, knock them loose.
Yeah.
Again, they should have had a boat with a motor on it. Since the lifeboats were gone, the Coast Guard was like, well, they obviously evacuated for some reason, but they couldn't find a reason on the boat other than the thing with the anchors.
Very weird.
We're going to go into the investigation now. Launched by the U.S. government. It also included a few other countries because of where the other crew was from. They'd been involved in that. The U.S. government launched a comprehensive investigation deploying ships and aircraft to search for clues. 5 departments of the government, Commerce, Treasury, Justice, Navy, and the government Department of the State looked into the case. There's records of this. Because apparently it was a big deal at the time, 1920s. So the Navy and the Coast Guard collaborated. They worked together to explore the possibility of external threats such as piracy, foreign interference. Ships and aircraft were deployed to search the wider area, but no significant evidence were ever found of any wreckage or the belongings. Nothing was floating. It's kind of like when you think about that Malaysian fight.
Yeah.
Where they've been finding little bits and pieces here and there, but they never found the plane.
Right.
And even for a while, they didn't find any parts.
No.
Which was strange, but this, they didn't find anything.
Find nothing.
But also a lot smaller stuff. Like, we're not looking for parts. I mean, they could have looked for
it's crazy
a rowboat.
Because they know where the boat itself is, which is really weird.
And they knew where it was 3 days earlier,
right.
Or 2 days earlier.
I know it's this, the ocean or the sea, at the ocean, but like they know where it was last seen.
The ocean and the sea are the same thing.
Well, no, I mean, depending on the size of the water.
Really?
Body water, yeah. Well, yeah, okay. All right. But anyways, saw where the ship was before. People were on it, right? Days later, no one was on it. Whereas like the Malaysian Airlines, like they took off here. We're like, we don't have, like they still have the boat. Yep.
Yeah. But there's no, I mean, with the Malaysian Airlines, there was no GPS.
Right.
There was GPS, but it was turned off.
Yeah.
So they knew approximately where it was, just like this.
Right.
Approximately where it was, but they don't know where it went.
They still found some things.
Right.
This thing didn't find anything.
Yeah.
Really weird.
A sea is generally smaller.
I mean, they're both water, bodies of water.
Seas are smaller than oceans and are usually located where the land and the ocean meet. Typically, seas are partially enclosed by land. This is the Atlantic Ocean, not the Atlantic Sea. Gotcha. And I learned something today. Thank you.
Boop.
Yeah. So that was the Coast Guard. They were looking around, and the Navy, flying around, looking for anything. Department of the Commerce, they were involved because they were interested in the daring due to the implications for maritime safety and commerce in general. They conducted interviews with maritime experts, reviewed logs from other ships in the area, and consulted with weather experts to piece together potential scenarios of what caused the ship to lose its anchors, what caused it to then get pulled into that Diamond Shoals area. Because maybe that's something they need to look at, like ships that are going to be operating in this area, they may need to have certain types of anchors, or they may need to have certain things in place.
Didn't you say that what are they, sandbars or whatever?
Constantly move,
yeah.
Yeah, or like always, I guess it's just redepositing it in other areas.
Yeah.
So one day a ship can go this way, but the next day it has to go the other way.
Right.
I was watching this YouTube video about Disney's Disney's island that they used to have it was Disney Cruise Lines. They went to this island, and they used like some very specific small island they wanted to like use for this thing. Apparently, they still use it, but like they had to like dredge out a way for the big ships to get into it. So they had to buy ships they could fit. Then they had to like dredge out the ocean to get these ships to actually be able to pull into the port.
And they would have the money to do that.
But like, it's just crazy. They had to like, they're like, oh, the sea lane was only this big, and so ships this big could make it through, but ships this big couldn't. So they had to like dredge it out more.
Right.
And they actually had to dredge out an ocean for like an actual lane in the ocean, which is crazy when you think of things on that scale.
Yeah.
Of things moving around at that scale. Okay, so
is that a thing anymore?
What?
Whatever this island was?
I mean, I think it's like Carnival owns it now. It's like an amusement park.
Okay.
Cocoa Beach or something they call it, or Cocoa Island. Like it's huge amusement park that you can go to, and like it's on a small island.
Yeah.
I don't know. Cruises seem like a nightmare.
Yes.
In every aspect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people love them. Great. I don't think I'd like it. Maybe someday I'll go on one and I'd be like, this is cool.
Yeah.
The other thing I was interested in the cruising industry was whenever they were all stuck in the ocean during the COVID, and like you just saw all these boats and you're like, oh my God, that industry is huge.
Yeah.
And they're all just floating out there.
Yep. Didn't come in.
And like people just living out there.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah. Okay, we talked about the Department of Commerce. They were trying to figure out what happened so that they can make it safer in general for commerce in the area. Despite finding several other derelicts in the area, no evidence directly linked to the Daring's crew was ever discovered. So they found other shipwrecks when they were looking for the Daring, or the crew from the Daring. Several other vessels had also disappeared in roughly the same area in the recent history of this. Although most of these vessels were later revealed to have been sailing in the vicinity of a series of particularly powerful hurricanes. So now hurricanes come into this. Was there a hurricane at this time? So we go back to the guys in the investigation, commerce, talking to weather experts. Because in the 1920s, we didn't have radar or like satellites, like weather satellites.
Yeah.
So we couldn't see, what was going on or have record of it when it comes to, like, most of the time it was like, it's raining. Like, forecasting.
Storms are coming.
Like, forecasting was a little different.
Right.
If I understood, like, when it comes to forecasting, especially back in like earlier, people would like the way that someone like, let's say in the Northeast of America would have better weather because like people in like Texas would be like, hey man, it's raining down here. It's coming your way. Like just like calculating it based on what's going on.
Yeah.
And it is just like, obviously you don't have a bird's eye view of like with a satellite. It's hard to figure that out. Okay. Going back to the Daring. Daring was proven to have been sailing away from the area of a storm at the time. But the investigation yielded little concrete evidence of if they were actually in a hurricane because They lost their anchors. They said at some point, and they didn't have record. They didn't have actual evidence of like, okay, they were here at this point during this hurricane. They just said they lost it in a storm. That's what they said. Recorded in the record from Captain Jacobson. So probably that's what happened. But doesn't explain, was there a hurricane or some kind of storm between
those dates,
29th and the 4th?
Yeah.
Or, well, the 31st when they found it originally.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so it was found on the 29th. They didn't board it till the 4th. When it was found hard to ground, there was no one on it. There's no lifeboats on it, apparently, from what they were looking at. Investigators looked into the ship's navigation records and any remaining equipment they could based on what was left behind. The missing logbooks and navigation tools suggest that the crew might have encountered a navigation or technical emergency, but without these items, they couldn't definitively conclude what actually happened from a navigation system standpoint or technical standpoint, because they have no way of knowing what the tools they used were doing.
Yeah.
The mystery of the daring attracted a significant media attention, which brings into this like the story of like journalism always hyping things up.
Yeah.
Now makes the daring into this crazy thing. National attention. It added a lot of pressure though to the investigation because people were fascinated with it. Because again, people disappeared, ships there.
Yeah.
People were gone. No record of where they went or even what happened with the foods on there. Like they're hearing those key things.
Yeah.
Newspapers.
Sounds suspicious.
Yeah. Newspapers across the country reported the mystery, often speculating wildly about the fate of the crew. The media coverage brought public attention to the case, but also led to unverified rumors and theories, which we love.
But yeah, this is following World War One, so like, sure, there's still some kind of like a few years after World War, where there's some kind of like fear of foreign countries.
We're going to get into some
trying
theories.
To get like back at us.
Yeah.
Some along those lines.
So public's interest in the supernatural and unexplained phenomena fed into the investigation, with some suggesting a little place called the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh.
Have you heard of them? Have you heard of it?
Have you heard of this? Have you heard of this?
May have played a role in this disappearance. While investigators largely dismiss these theories, it has helped to perpetuate the paranormal angle of the case. After months of investigations, the U.S. government was forced to conclude its formal inquiry without a definitive explanation for the fate of the Daring and its crew. The official report listed several possible causes, but acknowledged that the lack of conclusive evidence hampers a solid answer. While foul play was suspected, based on these reports, no definitive proof of mutiny, piracy, or any other criminal activity was found, and obviously nothing paranormal. Maybe. What about extraterrestrial?
Oh, here we go.
All right, so that's the story. Not a lot of us, not much. We know very few things. Probably why it's so interesting.
Yeah, because there's that small time frame of when
It seems to happen overnight.
Yeah,
Just disappear.
matter of days
And they were close enough to shore.
to land, which is really weird.
You're close enough
Like,
to
what
land.
the hell could have possibly happened?
Right. You're close enough to land that, like, I think the big thing is that we got to remember there was no anchors for them to stop.
Yeah, but again,
But couldn't they just take their things down?
right? But it's also they're near that sand barge or the sand
The light ship?
Yeah, that, and they're near like
Diamond Shoals.
yeah, like they're assume at that point when they were still on the ship, they're close enough to know that like, hey,
They're going to hit into that.
there's a light ship there. Indicates you're close to land.
I guarantee they knew where they were.
Yeah.
Because he said, he talked to the guy.
Yeah.
He knew they were Cape whatever.
Yeah.
So what do you think happened? Why would they have done this? Because they knew they would have stopped eventually.
Right.
They just keep on staring towards the land. And if you wreck, who cares?
It's not like they ran off with like whatever the supply was on the ship because they already dropped it off.
It's probably done.
Yeah.
Unless they took the money.
The lifeboats are gone. Logs are gone.
I think the reason why this is such an interesting story is because they were close to land. the boats crashed into the land, ran aground and land, but the boat was still up.
Yeah.
If they would just stay on the boat,
and
be like, hey, can you help us out over here? Like, eventually they would have got off safely.
There may have been hurricane or something like bad weather around that time, maybe.
That may have caused them to lose their anchors.
Okay.
They're trying to figure out why they didn't have anchors.
Yeah.
Was there foul play? That type of thing.
Right.
Did one of the crew member cut it? They said they lost it in a storm. They just wanted to verify that it was a storm, that there wasn't like something weird going on.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But also, would you rather crash into the land? Like maybe they thought they were going to crash on land and the boat was going to break up, but like the boat just crashes. Who cares?
Yeah, that's what you have
If you abandon it, it's just as bad as it crashing. Who cares? It's not like you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah. Where would they have gone then?
Right.
If you know you're by land.
Yeah, if you're that close to land, why would you get off the boat?
Or even still, if you get off the boat, you knew where the land was. Go in your lifeboats, take the lifeboats to the land. And
also, I think the one thing I tried doing is to set up to the fact that these guys were pretty seasoned, pretty experienced boatmen.
Yeah.
So they knew what they were doing. They would know not to just jump into a lifeboat.
Yeah.
In waters that were treacherous, so that they could have drowned. They could have like wrecked them.
I want to know who that redheaded guy with the foreign accent.
I mean, that could have been like one of the Scandinavians or something.
Sure, yeah.
But if you're smart enough to be this well-seasoned captain and stuff, why did you jump into a lifeboat?
One of the first mate that didn't have the best view of the captain.
For those at home, I'm tapping on my nose towards Jordan because that is one of the theories. All right, so that's why I told the story about in Barbados what was going on.
Okay.
We're gonna go back. We're gonna flip back around. So I'm gonna give you the theories. There's a few of them. Some are ridiculous. Some are pretty cool. What do you want to hear first? You want to hear something that's like, yeah, probably was happened, or do you want to go crazy?
Let's go crazy.
Go crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna say. All right, so we're gonna start with supernatural and paranormal theories. There was, at this time, a pretty big focus on the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
And so one of the theories is that the daring was somehow influenced by the Bermuda Triangle, and that's why the people got lost. They got lost in the Bermuda Triangle. However, we know that they made it through the Bermuda Triangle.
What are all the points of the triangle?
I think it's Cuba's one of them. In like Dominican Republic, I don't know. Hold on, maybe Bermuda.
Yeah,
the Devil's Triangle.
There's a couple other different triangles that are out there that
there's the Dragon's Triangle, which is over on the other side of the world. Okay, so the Bermuda Triangle is, let's see, Bermuda, Puerto Rico, and the tip of Florida.
All right.
So
Puerto Rico.
Right? Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Yep, that's what it is. So the one theory, again, is Bermuda Triangle. However, we know that these explanations really capture media attention and people's imaginations. And so that's really one of the ones that took off for the Bermuda Triangle, like stories like the Carroll daring, the boat made it all the way to Diamond Shoals, but the people were taking off way down there.
Selling newspapers.
Right. So they'd be like those ones like crew lost in Bermuda Triangle, the Carroll daring, and then like could have been, that type of thing. So obviously scientific community dismisses this theory because they were seen Cape Lookout, which is obviously north. So let's go with the next craziest. Let's go with extraterrestrial. Basically, aliens came and got them. That's the theory.
That's all I said.
Aliens came and got them,
and they just took them,
and they took them in the boats, and they just floated them up in the sky.
Yeah.
There you go.
There it is.
That's number 2. Yeah. More likely, I would say more likely than the Bermuda Triangle.
Okay.
Because they were already far enough north.
Yeah, right.
So maybe they were taken And that's why maybe they went crazy, and that's why the guy saw him on the quarterdeck kind of milling about. But I think that's a big key to this.
They're probed.
The guys, there was records of them being on the quarterdeck milling about. Right?
So that just said milling about. Like there wasn't like a panic or anything like that.
Just milling about, walking around, maybe looking around. But they shouldn't have been up there because that's the captain's area. So something was going on. All right, let's go with, do you want... No, that's probably most common. Paranormal. How about Russian spies?
There you go.
There you go.
Yep.
During the period, there was fears of Russian espionage, and some believed the Russian spies may have involved in the disappearance. But why would they just take the people?
Yeah. Yeah. What would be the point of that?
You're right.
We want to know why you're still using this outdated industry.
Why are you still floating around with wind,
yeah.
crazy person?
You know something we don't?
Maybe this is a weapon. I don't know. I think it was just kind of like, where was the Red Scare wasn't even happening then, right? Because were we enemies with them, Russia? 1920s?
No.
They were just another world power.
Yeah, I don't think we were like we love them or anything like that, but we.
Okay, so how about let's go with now we're getting down to like the real ones, potentially real ones.
They were communists, so uneasiness there.
Where they were already. Okay. Great. Cool. Whatever. I'm going to go natural disaster next because there's a couple other ones there's like, this is actually kind of likely. I'm not sure. I think that some of this less likely because they have people that looked into the weather patterns and said, probably not.
Okay.
So the first one that we're going to talk about for weather-related disaster is that the Deering encountered severe weather, such as a sudden storm or hurricane, which forced the crew to abandon ship. The waters off Cape Hatteras are notorious for their rough conditions. The waters are also known as the graveyard of the Atlantic, as we talked about.
An ocean.
Yes. These sudden storms and shifting shoals have claimed numerous vessels over the years. Meteorological records from January 21st or January of 1921 indicate that while no major storms were recorded, the region was known for rapid and unpredictable weather changes. Okay, so that it could have been possible that they were just like, big storm ran up on them.
Yeah.
They got out. Why would they get out?
Why would they get maybe?
Why would they get on smaller ships?
Yeah,
Unless that ship was like so, like they thought the Daring was like so far gone, or
but it wasn't like food laid out. Like they're in that bad of like a storm. Wouldn't they be like signs of like things being thrown about?
Yeah, that's what my first question would be like. Everything's kind of just okay, unless it really was like a little rough one. I don't know. It doesn't really record of that. And there'd probably be record of like there looks like things are right because even the Mary Celeste stuff was kind of moved around.
Yeah, they noted that. That was what 100 years before that.
I think it was in the 1800s. I can't remember exactly, but anyway, another theory, natural disaster theory, is the rogue wave theory. So another possibility is the occurrence of a rogue wave, a sudden and massive wave capable of capsizing the ship, came upon them. Such waves could have overwhelmed the Daring, leading to the crew's disappearance. However, the boat was still upright when upon finding.
Right.
Everything was still dry on the inside. Yeah. Rogue waves were massive and unexpected, but have known to strike with little warning, potentially overwhelming even the largest of vessels like the Daring. However, this theory suggests that this could have happened, and while it could have overtaken the ship, they could have abandoned too quickly with the threat of it attack.
Wouldn't they see I don't know if they have enough time with a rogue wave to grab the logs.
Right.
Get on the
Yeah. Okay, how about that's the natural disaster theories. How about let's go to I'm going to say collision with another vessel. Cuz disappearance of another vessel, the Hewitt, around the same time led to the speculation that two might have collided. However, the lack of floating wreckage argued against this theory. The SS Hewitt was the ship in question was the SS Hewitt. When the Coast Guard boarded the Daring, they found that distress signals, 2 red lights high in the rigging, had been lit. So that's how they showed distress.
Yeah.
The steamer Hewitt, that was known to be in the area, could have sighted the distress signals and taken the crew of the Daring aboard. Okay.
All right.
The Hewitt was later lost with all hands, so it is possible the Daring crew may have gone down with the Hewitt right after they were rescued from the Daring.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
We're saved. Now we're dead.
Right.
That would suck.
So the Hewitt was a steamer too.
Yeah.
So it was a good boat.
Yeah.
No, but
Man.
they did have record of the lighting. I think there's like conflicting arguments of that, but like supposedly high in the rigging there was the
Press signal.
right. Yes.
All right. Okay, that seems plausible.
Let's go to the next.
Why would it be lit?
The anchors, but again, just float into the
Just
float into the thing and
Yeah.
jump out.
Yeah.
Go to Sandcastle. I don't know.
Unless maybe the tide were
I think,
current was like pushing them back out in the ocean, maybe.
but I think like
Again, like they're seasoned people.
the seamen, if you will, knew what they were doing.
Right.
The seasoned seamen, salty dogs, knew what they were going on. Okay, next one is going to be piracy and foul play. Historically, context of piracy in the area is common. Right? The 20th century saw instances of piracy, especially during the Prohibition era. Rum running and other illicit activities were common along the East Coast. There is evidence for and against piracy, however. Some theorists suggest the pirates may have hijacked the Daring, either killing the crew and forcing them to abandon the ship. However, there's no concrete evidence to support this claim.
I mean, that might explain why there's people milling about on that.
Because, yeah, but
like
there's
the
food still there. With
pirates
the
already there. Or there at that point, maybe.
But why wouldn't they take the food or anything? The theory that the pirates, while this is compelling, especially because of the missing lifeboats and personal belongings, there was no physical evidence of a struggle or robbery aboard the Daring. And let's go with the last. No, there's 2 more. Wait, wrong. I'm gonna go with 2 more. The mutiny and internal conflict theories. Okay, there's one after this. So, based on what we heard so far,
yeah,
what happened in Barbados? There's already some kind of conflict going on.
Yeah.
So, the crew dynamics has already been strained between the first mate and the
captain.
We know that, but the other theory or the other thing going on is that this internal conflict between commanding officer, first mates, and this crew because they don't know these guys. The mixed nationalities and possible language barriers among the crew may have contributed to tensions. The sudden illness of Captain Merritt and replaced by Captain Wormel introduced a potential source of the conflict. Wormel's strict disciplinary style may have clashed with the crew. Also, if there was the communication barriers they said to have existed because of the mixed nationalities, that may have caused even further stress between the two. And there's also record of McClellan, the first mate, saying he couldn't discipline the crew.
Yeah.
Because Wormel kept on stepping in.
Right.
So maybe there's some kind of thing there. Now we have a 3-way grudge match or battle.
Okay.
Captain Wormel was known to be a strict disciplinarian, as expected. Or as I said, there was no direct evidence of mutiny, though, because there may have been like more of the scene may have been more messed up, kind of like with the piracy theory. But remember what happened back in Barbados. Again, maybe there was something going on between
Captain and first.
Right, that caused a rift. Mutiny could have been driven by dissatisfaction with leadership, harsh conditions, or other interpersonal conflicts. However, interviews with the relatives and associates of the crew did not reveal any overt signs of mutiny, and the crew's disappearance still remains part of this, the biggest part of this mystery. So that's the mutiny theory. Like we had this little thing that happened in Barbados. It's on record.
Right.
There's records of him being in, had first mate being reprimanded down there by the police or whatever.
Mm.
And so it leads us on to the evacuation theory. My last theory, my personal favorite, because it sounds the most realistic.
Okay.
It is possible that the Daring's crew simply abandoned the ship after the vessel ran aground on the Diamond Shoals and was unable to row to shore because of a strong current. They were pulled out to sea and were killed eventually.
Would you explain why the logs were they would taking the logs with them?
Right. Because they thought they were trying to get off and get on the land.
They probably would have noted that in the logs too, right? Like, hey, maybe we ran aground, so we're getting off the ship.
Right. Because it doesn't say while they were seen on the 29th, maybe, 2 hours later they ran aground.
Yeah.
Why there was discussion of the storms in the area because they did evacuate and get on the ships.
Right.
I don't know if it was really mentioned how far out.
I mean, even the storm was over, that could have had a lasting impact on like the current, the water.
Mm-hmm. But again, they were seasoned, salty dogs there. They were seasoned sailors. They knew what was going on. They knew how that stuff worked. They waited till the February 4th because of bad weather. We know there was sometimes bad weather, but on the ocean, and there's always bad weather. It's always like everything changes so quickly.
Right.
The steering equipment was found to be damaged with the wheel shattered, the box stove, the binnacle box stove and rudder disengaged from its stock. So
that could have already been because.
Right. It doesn't really say that happened before.
So is like, how is it with that one theory about them being picked up by the steamship? How would it have been known that they had a distress signal lit? Sooner.
What do you mean?
So that theory of the
the Hewitt saw the distress signal, and picked them up.
There's just a guess that was it actually known that there was a distress signal lit?
Yeah, because it was still in the rigging.
Like who would have saw that other than the ship that picked them up and saved them?
Well, they saw it still in the rigging whenever they found the ship.
Okay.
And that they got on the SS Hewitt, which went down.
Right.
But I don't know if they ever know. Maybe there's more research done on like the actual bodies they found. I don't know. So the Coast Guard tried to salvage the Daring, but it was impossible due to how it was positioned. Okay, yeah. So it was destroyed on March 4th to prevent with dynamite, so other vessels wouldn't slam into it. A portion of the ship's bow later drifted ashore on Ocracoke Island in North Carolina. Apparently, wooden timbers from the wreck also washed ashore on Hatteras Island and were used by locals to build houses. There was one story which was pretty much, which I want to bring up last, my last kind of like thing with this. There was on April 11th, 1921, a local fisherman named Christopher Columbus Gray claimed to have found a message in a bottle.
Of course he did.
Right. Found a message in a bottle floating in the waters off a beach in North Carolina. He supposedly swiftly turned it over to authorities. The text in the message read as follows: Daring captured by oil burning boats, something like chaser, taking off everything, handcuffed crew hiding all over ship, no chance to make escape, finder, please notify headquarters Daring.
Wait,
Daring captured by oil burning boat. So it was a boat with an engine.
Okay. Okay.
Something like chaser, which I don't know what that means. Taking off everything, handcuffing crew hiding all over ship, no chance to make escape, finder, please notify headquarters Daring.
Something like chaser. Was chaser a boat?
Maybe. Type of boat. The handwriting.
Boat name.
The handwriting in the letter was identified as that of ship's engineer Henry Bates by the widow of Captain Wormel, which how would she know? The bottle was proven to have been manufactured in Brazil.
That's, I mean, a big thing there. All right.
This, along with the sighting of a mysterious steamer that arrived at Cape Lookout Lightship in the wake of the daring, suggested hostile action. Captain of the lightship had attempted to hail the steamer to get its crew to relay a message from the daring, but the steamer failed to respond and could not make out the ship's name, as the crew had unfurled a canvas to cover the nameplate, which would have been maybe the Hewitt. So the message raised skepticism, obviously, because if the crew member did manage to get a hold of paper, pen, and bottle and write a letter, why wouldn't he request the company be notified as opposed to the police or Coast Guard? So it was concluded later that the message was forged, and
That sucked.
Christopher Gray admitted to the forgery.
Oh, damn. I can understand why they'd say, like, call the police, Coast Guard.
Gray apparently
Those are the ones
forged.
going to help you, not the company.
Yeah, Gray apparently forged the note in hopes that the publicity would garner from hiding it would help him secure employment in the Cape Hatteras Light Station. Yeah.
Damn, I was like, oh, you're just going to tell me this stuff? But
Herbert Hoover was Secretary of Commerce at the time, and he was intrigued by this whole thing and really got Secretary of Commerce like involved in shipping and stuff and trying to figure out what happened.
Okay.
So they can make the area safer. But that's a whole side note. Anyway, that is the story of the Carroll A. Deering. Do you have any theories of what happened to the ship?
I think it's either the last one you suggested, like they ran ground, like, okay, we got to get off the ship. Not that they were like as an emergency, but like we still need to get to land. The ship's clearly not going to get to land. So getting our lifeboats, row to land. We got our log. Figure out how to get, the boat out of the sandbars later. There was a ground crew that took them out.
Do you think they ran aground and then got off?
Yeah. I like that one, or the one where they were picked up by the steamship and then
died.
It would just be awful. Like, oh, we're saved, and then
I like this vision of the steamship just pulling up, like ripping up, like, hey, what's up?
What's up, losers?
Nerds, beep, beep. And then like, all right, check this out. They like took off and then like came back around, like, all right, get on. And kept on driving away from them.
Yeah.
And then they got swept out to the ocean.
Come on. Oh, yeah. Oh, they just keep hitting the gas. Like, oh, yeah, almost.
Where's your wind at, nerds? You gonna put your sheets out there? Yeah.
A little blanket, hang up your blankets and get going there.
Your old blankies, they're not helping you? Check this out. And he like took off. Like popped a wheelie. Yeah. Sprayed him with water.
Yeah. Nerds. Welcome to the 20th century.
Like threw coal at them. Like, here you go. Oh wait, you don't have an engine.
Yes, what do you want to need?
There's too much of this junk.
Yeah, so I think it's either one of those two.
I think the Hewitt was a cool added thing. I don't know. Yeah. I personally don't think that's what happened. I think they most likely got pulled out to the ocean or pulled out to sea when they tried to evacuate.
But all of them though, like was it 12? There's only 12 guys.
12 guys.
Yeah.
2 lifeboats.
Right. Like seasoned.
Yeah, I would say seasoned guys would know maybe not to get off the ship at that point. So that's why I don't think. I think it's probably that. But I'm like, why were they milling about? Why was that reported?
Yeah, that's kind of a thing.
Why was one guy like, hey, it's messed up over here? If there was something more serious going on, he probably would have told him. Other than, hey, we don't have anchors.
Right, because wouldn't the captain had been, or the first mate had been going to do that announcement?
I don't think they really say who.
But I'm saying, wouldn't that be like? It seems like that would be.
Maybe it was the first mate. They didn't really explain who he looks like.
But I feel like they would have said that like the rest of their crew, they was been in Scandinavia, Danish. Right?
They said it was Scandinavia, mostly Danish. I don't.
But that was the crew, not necessarily the first mate and the captain.
Correct.
So it seemed kind of weird that the first mate or the captain would be the one who was doing that announcement to the lightship.
Right. Maybe.
So where was the captain during all that? Did they actually what did a mutiny?
Like he was tied up below.
Yeah. Or the two just killed each other. You guys were kind of left.
But when he said like, "Hey, there's a crime over here," I mean, hopefully you would say.
Right, it's true. Yeah.
And maybe they did mention that maybe those guys Scandinavians didn't speak English. So he wouldn't have been the one to be like, "Hey, we're having troubles." Maybe
an accent.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, one of them would have had much to like interpret.
Yeah.
I'm going with those two.
Those two. That's like we have to pick one.
I don't wanna. All right, I'm gonna go with they got picked up by that other ship.
Are you gonna go with that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's another thing.
What?
No. It's in September 1955. The remaining hull of the Daring was moved about 9 miles by Hurricane Ione from Ocracoke to Hatteras. The Carroll A. Daring, for whom the ship was named, died March 1967 at age 84.
Crap.
Yeah. This case is a favorite of paranormal and Bermuda Triangle hobbyists and gained the reputation as one of the truly great maritime mysteries.
I mean, yeah, because a matter of a couple of days they were seen supposedly, and then they're just like, we're gone.
I don't know why it's tied to the Bermuda Triangle so much though. They weren't even near the Bermuda.
I think the fact they went to Puerto Rico.
The Bermuda Triangle was real lazy back then. It just took them a while to figure it out.
Yeah, took a while to catch up.
Yeah,
because he was using a late mode of transportation.
Yeah, there's a wind. He had to wait for the wind to catch up to him.
Is that what you think? Like they just got swept out, they abandoned ship. We're like, oh, we ran ground, so we're gonna get out and.
I mean, a lot of what you read was stuff for this. There is a lot that goes into like piracy was like such a big thing going on that a lot of people were just like, it's probably pirates, but I don't know. I mean, they didn't take anything. What did the pirates need?
Right. Yeah.
What would pirates need? There wasn't no money on there. I mean, maybe there was some money.
Maybe they thought there might have been stuff on there. Like, we'll take the logs, make it look like, and then they ditched like the lifeboats, make it look like they just took off. Again, like, I don't know. There's no signs of like a struggle, right?
No. So they probably got on the boats.
Pirates probably had a steamboat and were like just were able to catch right up to him and just board them easily.
Pirates with a steamboat.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm the captain now. And then they're like, oh, crap. All right. So I think it was probably they just got swept out to sea when they tried to evacuate after they wrecked.
Yeah.
Makes the most sense. I don't know if there's really record of how far, because everything moves so much, how far it actually was.
Yeah.
But they did say the Coast Guard couldn't get to the ship until the 4th because of the sea. But also maybe they couldn't get out to get down there.
Yeah.
They couldn't just walk to the ship.
Right,
It had
yeah,
to be something more difficult than that. All right, Jordan. Another one in the books.
Another mystery unsolved.
Yeah, we're like that show. Well, they didn't solve anything either. Unsolved Mysteries. That's why it's called Unsolved Mysteries. Which always drove me nuts about that show. The ones on Netflix are really awesome.
I haven't watched.
They're really good. Some of them are a little weird, but they're really, really good.
It's like the original one with what's his name?
John Walsh.
No, the one out in the one in the 90s.
Yeah, John Walsh.
That's the guy that did America's Most Wanted.
Who's John Walsh?
The guy that did America's Most Wanted.
No, the one I seriously the one in
I don't say guy's like Robert
Netflix
something.
is good.
It's such a creepy voice.
Robert Stack.
Yep.
The one on Netflix is really good. There's 3 seasons of it.
If you or anyone you know.
Yeah, they do that every episode. And I think they've actually been solved a few of them ones from the Netflix season because they brought so much attention to it.
Okay.
They actually solved something. But anyway, give her a watch. We're not going to solve anything because we're not very good at that. And that's not why
we should
we're
provide the information.
We're just finding information to hopefully you can go out and solve it.
You guys do the hard work.
All right, everybody out there. Thank you so much. Jordan, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
If you would like to help us out, please give us a follow on YouTube or any social media. Follow us on any podcast platform. If you're watching or listening, you can also watch or listen, and that really helps us out as well. If you would like to connect with us, any social media, you can find all those links below, such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And if you would like to reach out via email, please do so. MysteriousPals online at gmail.com. You can also go to MysteriousPals.com for all these links and links to all our episodes and anything else you may need. But whatever you need, doesn't matter as long as you come back next week be with us here on this here show. Jordan, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you out there, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Gals.
Good day. Sun's out. Bums out. Good night. See you next time.